Hey, Brent here from American English with this guy. And this is a free English class. For the next 20 or 30 minutes, we're going to talk about the state of California. And I think this is going to do three things for you. One, this will help you with your English listening comprehension. You will have an American teacher speaking in slow, clear English will help you with your comprehension while you listen. And you know what that does? It actually helps you with your speaking. It may not make sense, but listening actually will help you with your speaking. Is it as good as actually speaking? No. But when else can you have an American teacher teaching you a lesson for free? The other thing it will do is let you learn about American culture, American history, and a bonus. If you ever want to take the US citizenship test, this will be helpful because they do ask questions about American history, sometimes US states. And I figured let's talk about the largest US state when it comes to population, not size, but the most people live in California. And what you can do is if you feel that I'm speaking a little too slowly, you can speed it up. YouTube lets you put, two times the speed, one and a half times the speed. Or if I'm speaking a little too quickly for you, then you can slow it down a little bit. If you would like, you can put this in your pocket and listen to it while you work out. You'll be getting a lot of English into your brain, which is going to actually help you speak better in the long run. So let's get right to the lesson. What I'm going to do is I am going to have the text in front of me and I will read it. So you can follow along with me if you would like. If you look in the description box, there is a PDF of this. So after this lesson, if you want to practice reading on your own, that is available, or you can pause the screen, read along with me, shadow after I read the sentence. It will be long, but I promise after the 20 or 30 minutes, your English will be a lot better. So let's get right to the lesson. And this is from, I can make this even bigger. This is from a page called Simple English. It's a Wikipedia with simple English. So it might be perfect for someone who might find the Wikipedia site a little too difficult in regular English. Here we have it in simple English. So this is all about California. And what's great is we have a map of California. So in case you didn't know where California was located, you can see it right there in the red. We have the flag of California. Every state in the US has its own flag. So a lot of times you will see on a flagpole, you will see the US flag at the top, but right below, whatever state you're in, you'll see the state flag. And that is a California bear that's on the flag. And every state in the US also has a seal, not like the animal seal, but a seal which represents that state. Many large cities will also have a seal. I love Wikipedia too because they give you a lot of really quick information. In case you didn't know, well, it's in the country of the United States. Okay, we knew that. Before statehood, it was called the California Republic. And then you can see when was California admitted to the Union? That means when did it become an official state? And we can see that that happened in 1850. So let's talk about, can I make this a little bigger? I think I can. Come on. Work with me here. Yeah, right there. Too big. So I'm going to start reading this. and hopefully it will be big enough for you to see. As I clear my throat, getting ready to read. California. Officially, the state of California is a state in the western part of the United States. It is the third largest U.S. state by total area after Alaska and Texas. Let's bring this over here. So, Alaska is right here, and really on the map, it would be. Can you see that cursor? Hopefully. Maybe you can't, but it would be at the top of the map. And then Texas, it's kind of in the middle there with big word. Big number. So let's pronounce this number. It's always best to look at the comma and then pronounce that word, that number that's before the comma. So 163,696 square miles. That probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you because you probably live in a country that doesn't really recognize miles, but it is 423,970 square kilometers and the largest by population with over 39 million people as of 2019. Its largest cities are Los Angeles, which is the second biggest city in the United States, San Diego, San Jose, and San Francisco. The capital is Sacramento, and it is bordered by Arizona to the southeast, Oregon to the north, Nevada to the east, and the Mexican state of Baja California to the south. California is the state with the largest economy. And when we talk about economy, we're talking about money. So if you know anything about California, we'll get to it in a little while, but a lot of technology can be found in California. California is the state with the largest economy. California's Silicon Valley is home to some of the world's most valuable technology companies, including Apple. Most people know Apple. And Alphabet Incorporated. That's what that means. It's an abbreviation for incorporated. If you've never heard of the Alphabet companies, well, it's a pretty big one. Google. Google is part of the Alphabet company, but I don't see where. I promise. Google is part of the Alphabet along with YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google. And of course, Facebook. What is now California was first settled by native Californian tribes. Before that, it was explored by Europeans in the 16th and 17th century. It became the 31st state of the United States in 1850. Geography. I don't know about you, but I don't know. I think geography, I hope you don't mind, but I think geography might be a little boring. So I'm going to skip that, except for one part here, which is about Mount Whitney. So if you look at the geography part, it's talking about Mount Whitney. Mount Whitney. I hope you can see that cursor right there. But Mount Whitney is the highest point in the United States outside of Alaska. Alaska has a lot of tall mountains, but Mount Whitney, excuse me, is the tallest point in what we call the lower 48. So if you ever hear the lower 48 in English, that is all of the states minus Alaska and Hawaii. They are not part of the lower 48 just because those two states are not connected anywhere. But Mount Whitney is the highest point in the lower 48. So let's kind of skip the geography. If you're a big geography fan, I do apologize, but it's just something I find a little boring. But let's talk about climate. Sorry, let's talk about culture. Culture. The state is the leader in three businesses: farming, movie making, and high technology, mostly software and websites. Aerospace used to be a large industry there, but it has been downsized in the last 20 years. So, any fans of The Office in here would know that downsize, when you're talking about a business, it means it has gotten smaller, downsized. And they did just talk about aerospace. Aerospace. So, in English, it's good to know Latin and Greek roots. So, aero often means air. So, aerospace would be, we're not talking about airplanes. Actually, it sounds a little bit like airplanes, but because of the space, we're actually talking about higher than airplanes fly. So, like space shuttles, things like that, satellites. And you might hear the word aerodynamic in English, and that means is built to go faster. So, somebody riding a bicycle might try to be more aerodynamic by getting lower in their seat. Cars don't normally have like real thick edges, they're smooth, so they can go faster. So, that's aerospace. Let's make the screen a little bigger so you can, let's make it a lot bigger so you can see. California is very diverse. Today, it has a large Armenian diaspora. Let's take a second here and talk about diverse. Diverse means different. So they're talking about different cultures, different races, and they just mentioned Armenian. I don't want to get too much into Armenian diaspora, but there have been some people from the country of Armenia, and they've been displaced because they have had a bit of a war with Azerbaijan. So there's a large Armenian population in California, and there has been a dispute with this territory here, the Nagorno Karabakh. But we're talking about California here, so we won't get too much into Armenia and Azerbaijan. But if anybody is watching from Armenia or Azerbaijan, glad to have you. I know every so often in the chat there are people from Armenia and Azerbaijan, so welcome, welcome. We can all agree that learning English is pretty important, and that's why you're here. So we'll leave the political talk out of this live class, out of this class. I am recording this live, but so it's just like you're one of my students here. And it's free, which is kind of cool. An American teacher. That's what I love about YouTube. You can find many Armenian businesses and restaurants in the district of Little Armenia. There are many earthquakes in California. They happen when two tectonic plates. You might think, oh no, what does that mean? Well, there are some context clues here. That's parts of the Earth's crust. So this is not a science learning channel, but the crust, when we talk about, I didn't even share that with you guys. I'm sorry. When we talk about the Earth's crust, we're talking about the very top of the Earth. And you probably know that the Earth has several, we call it plates in English, several plates, and those often move. And California, unfortunately, sits on a couple places where earthquakes are known to happen. We actually call them faults, Faults. So earthquakes are known to happen in California, unfortunately. But California is beautiful. You just have to watch out for the earthquake sometimes. They happen when two tectonic plates, part of the Earth's crust, shift underground. Californians need to be prepared for earthquakes and often store extra food, water, flashlights, and first aid supplies in case of such an emergency. And we want to give a big shout out to anyone who is watching from Japan, because I know that you have to deal with very similar things. A lot of places do. Actually, let's talk about Armenia again. They also are known for having some big major earthquakes. Oh, so many places. Iran, Turkey. I better stop naming places because Chile, Argentina. Okay. So a lot of places in the world have to worry about earthquakes along with California. Uh, I should be a good teacher and share the screen with you so you can see what I'm reading. California has more people than any other state in the United States. If California was a separate country, it would have the sixth largest economy. And when we talk about economy, always think money, economy. So, California, with its businesses with software and movie making and agriculture, like a lot of California, because I've been there near the San Francisco area, has a lot of farming. You might not think about that because if you only know California from like Los Angeles or San Francisco, you might not realize that so much of the food that we eat in the United States, the fruits and the vegetables, come from California. Where were we? This is impressive right here, I think. I will highlight this. If California was a separate country, it would have the sixth largest economy in the world. California is probably the state with the most ethnic groups. And that's what we're going to talk about here with like diverse. If you hear the word diverse in English, it means different. And oftentimes when you hear about diversity, they're talking about different ethnic groups, different races of people. So California might also be the most diverse state in the nation. Other states that are really diverse would be Texas and Florida and New York. Back to the article. It also has many different geographic features, mountains, deserts, and coasts. And when we say coasts, that means it's close to the water, land that is close to the water. It's often called the Golden State. The state flower is the golden poppy. The post office uses CA as a shorthand for California, and the Associated Press uses, you can see those two right there, Calif or Cali. Yeah, some Americans, not all, but you might hear instead of an American saying California, you might hear them shorten it to Cali. And every state, when we mail things to different areas, there's always a 2-letter abbreviation. And the article just said that California is CA. I live in Maine. Our abbreviation is ME. But here's something tricky. Massachusetts is the state that is south of me, and the abbreviation for Massachusetts is MA. Even though Maine also starts with MAINE, or me, Maine, ME, me. So that is a little bit of California. We've been going for 20 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've lasted this long, maybe you want to see even more lessons like this. Right up there, I am going to leave a lesson I did with spring. So why stop there if you're learning English? Thanks so much for tuning in.